The year is 1996. The gaming industry has made a massive, almost obsessive impact on modern culture and its devoted fan base. But it is still in its infancy when it comes to graphics, gameplay, sound, and voice acting.
What a mansion!
Now don't get me wrong, the gaming industry is not where it is today, with its multi-million-dollar budgets and insane amount of widespread popularity. But thanks to the early days of 80s arcade gaming, the industry found itself with a fat, juicy, voluptuous stack of cash at its fingertips, which obviously made some of the companies revolve all their time and energy into, and after all the success that's been building up these past couple of years, some major companies decided they wanted to pursue into household consoles so that everyday people could have an experience with it. Now this finally brings us to Super Mario 64. It's been 24 years since this beautiful man-made creation came out, and it's important to remember that most games don't stand the test of time as well as others. Now I'm going to see if that's the case for this game. It's most likely won't be, but you know, I'm gonna try anyways. Now at this point, Nintendo has been the major hub of balancing challenging gameplay, which makes it rewarding and fun. Nintendo gradually transitioned into a 2D experience with dynamic backgrounds that complement the course of the map. The layout of these courses are actually quite similar to each other, but the main thing to focus on with these levels is the momentum that keeps you going through the course.
Get in the door! Yo, look at this, bro. What?
Super Mario 64's gameplay completely chucks that out the window and lets you go in any direction that you possibly want to go in. You can find hidden levels throughout the map. It's a very big change for the genre of games that they made. I could go on forever about the gameplay, but it's just so hard to talk about because you actually have to be in the game and like play it yourself. Yes, I have a new shirt on. Yes, it's been like 5 days. If you want a proper dissection of the difficulty of this game, then you should probably go to Donkey's video. He just generally goes into more detail about it than I do. So I'm awful at playing games and, you know, learning the right moves for the character. Although I have been playing a whole lot of Ghost of Tsushima, so I guess it just takes me a while to get used to a game. I kind of had this issue for Super Mario as well. Eventually, of course, I got used to it like every other player has when they played it. But it's not perfect, you know. There's some little tiny things that get on my nerves, like the aiming and the way you control him sometimes is a little bit chunky.
No, come on, what?
Chunky? Is that the right word? I'm not really putting it into great words, but you know, I hope you know what I'm saying. The gameplay did suppress some of my experience with the difficulty a little bit. I just feel like if I keep on talking about it, I'll be nitpicking, but you know, I just had little problems with the difficulty at times. But as much as I criticize it, it is honestly the best part of the game. Usually with the newer Nintendo games, they just give a long explanation of how to play the game.
This is a toad.
And this game does have that, but like it kind of just drops you into this world and just expects you to roam around and find your own way, which I know that sounds a bit harsh, but it's genius. Like it's so much of a contrast to their older games. There's so much to do in this game, it's honestly impossible to get anything done. I've probably mentioned the hidden levels that the developers provide throughout the game, but that's only because the content of the game is what glues everything together. I was honestly so shocked to see the amount of shit you do in this game. I mean, look at this. These are all the stars that you can get from all the maps. Once again, the size of the map really expands the developers' ideas of where to put all this content. And that's what the developers primarily use their time for. Now look at all the enemies that this game has. The amount of time and dedication that the developers took, it's amazing. At the same time, I understand that there's only a small amount of bosses, considering the time since it came out. Here's a big boy. You ready? The levels. Holy there are so many levels in this game. And you could pick wherever you want to go. Obviously, you have to have the right stars to get into the levels, but you know, it's still like crazy. The game never stops delivering. It's insane. And the biomes that you can explore, it's crazy. You can go to the snow, you can go to the desert, you can go to a sunken pirate ship, you can go to heaven, you can go to hell. It never stops. I don't understand how they found all this time to put it in. There's so many things to do that the developers had extra things to put in the game. So as you can tell, I'm quite passionate about the game. It just has this beautiful mix of elements that they had from their older games and just mixes it into this one game. It's just, I'm not trying to say it's perfect, but it's definitely something to be... I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's something that needs to be noticed in the gaming industry, which it obviously has. Okay, so if you haven't noticed at this point, this is a new series I'm doing, just a review type thing every now and then. I understand that, my content is a bit more obnoxious and loud. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.